Hi, I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to Rehatch Designs. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about making an easy flip-flop journal from start to finish. So sit back, enjoy, get something to drink, and have a good time. Today I am going to be doing a flip-flop journal, and I'm going to do it a super easy way that I think everybody can understand, and talk about ways to adapt it, etc. I'm even going to show you how to put your papers in the signatures and how to cover it and decorate it, and hopefully we'll get most everything done in this one video. Couldn't figure it out, but it was just I think there's an easier way to do it if it's your first time, so it's not so confusing, because I know I have a lot of beginner people that watch my channel, and I thought maybe this would be good for them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have 4 envelopes, and these happen to be the same size. They don't have to be. You definitely can use junk mail. You can do anything. Like this is a different size. I think it'd be fine to do that if you would like to do that. I don't see anything wrong with that. In fact, I might show you at the end how we can add that into it. In fact, we could add it. I think that would look good. Okay, well, I'll show you how to do that. So anyway, I have 4 larger envelopes. Mine happen to be these are what, 9.5 by almost 4. So I have 4 of those. I have a smaller one that is 3.5 by 6.5, and then I have this other one that is, it's a little bit smaller. It is 8 3/4 by 3 3/4. So it can be anything that you come up with. It doesn't really matter. So anyway, I am going to just do a very basic start of it, and then we'll add a few things to it, and we'll just discuss that. So these are basically going to be the base of your journal. Okay, so this is going to be what you adhere your papers to make your journal. It's not necessarily like the cover or the pages. This is just the base. Okay, I'm going to do some things to reinforce it and show you that part of it too, because I think that's important. So the big thing is we're going to start out with 1 envelope, and I have, this is the the tape kind, and we're going to use that and some glue. All right, and I am just going to take my glue stick. I have a really good glue stick, so I feel confident that it'll work. I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off too, and we'll use both. And I'm going to put that on there. All right, and so I am going to attach this to my envelope right at the crease. I'm going to leave a tiny little gap, so you don't want to do it right on the fold. You want to do it a little bit out, just a tiny bit. I don't know if it's even measurable, just a smidgen is what I call it. And that's so that it will bend, because if you do it too close, it won't do that. And that's one reason why I like using the glue stick. Okay, that's off a little bit. So we're going to try it again. Move it down a little bit. I can't really bend my head over it, because then I can't, then you guys won't be able to see. All right, that's better. Is that good there? It looks a little crooked. There we go. There we go. All right. So that is your first little part of this. Oh, see, I did it again. I got it straight, but I got it too far. That's what I was talking about. You have to have a little gap, otherwise it will not close. Okay, it doesn't matter if it ripped a little because we're going to cover all that up. Okay, that's good right there, I think. All right, so that's the first one, and that's not going to matter. Okay, so that is part one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this portion, not to the tape side, but to this side, okay? And we're going to take that off. Again, I'm going to put my glue stick again. Oh, this one's almost empty. Let's go back to this one. So, you can open it up and do it that way, but I actually I think this is a little bit easier to understand and to do. And okay. Here, I'm going to have to do it kind of sideways because I'm too far away to see the line. And I don't want to get over the line again, so. The glue stick moves pretty good, but the little, you know, the tape doesn't give you much. Okay, so there's that one. So that's all we've done so far, okay? So let's see, that is going to go like that. And then 1, 2, yeah, okay. So then this one, it's going to go sideways. That might be a little bit too close. All right, I think that's good. All right, does that work? Yeah, okay. So we got that. All right, now this is where I do it a little bit different. My shorter envelope that I have, okay, on the back, I like to put it here so that, well, you'll see why. If I put the shorter one there, it's going to look a little different than them all being the same size, okay? So I'm going to put this one over here, and it could go either way. It could go this way or it could go the other way. It doesn't really matter. I like to put it this way in case I want to add something to this flap. So, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to do that. So we have 3 or 4 envelopes that are bigger like this, and then I have one that's a little bit smaller. And this is totally to taste, guys. You could put another one of these envelopes in there if you wanted to. You don't have to do one smaller, but I like how it looks. And I'm not going to do it in the middle. I'm going to kind of do it, well, maybe I will. I'll do the other one, not in the middle. And again, you don't want to do it right on the crease. I wish I could see this better, but I really can't. I have to kind of move it closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I think that turned out good. Okay, and we're not using the what do you call it, the window. So, all right, so that should be, yeah. Okay. All right. Now, let me show you how this turned out. You're going to end up with one that goes like this, like that, like this, and then this shorter one in the front, okay? And so what that does is that gives you a shorter envelope. You can have that in your front like that. This is we're going to add another one in a minute, okay? So in the front, 1, 2, okay, and then you're going to have one there and have one there. Okay, so you end up with this, okay? You're going to have basically a spot here, a spot here, a spot here, a spot here. So you'll have 4 places that you can put journal pages, okay? Now, you can make either this the front or you can make this the front, and depending upon the look that you want, this is where the shorter envelope comes in. You can take that and put it on the front right here, okay, and have it fold out that way. Or if you wanted to, you could have, or you still can do it, put it this way and have it fold that way, okay? See, this is where we put the first envelope, okay? So this is what we have. All right, we can put that here. You can either put it here and have this flap out that way, or you can put it over here. Because mind you guys, we're not really using the envelope part of it unless you want to, and then that brings us into a whole nother thing. I'm going to put it to where it opens this way, okay? So it's going to open like that, all right? And you could actually put pages in here if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. And all I'm going to do on that is I'm just going to put some glue stick. And we're going to be covering this and using other glue. So if you have a good glue stick, you can do it with a glue stick. And on this one, I think I'm going to go kind of, I don't really want to go quite in the middle. I want to go right here. Again, we're in the same situation where you don't want to get it right on that crease because then it will not fold. That's too crooked. Okay, I better do it this way. I think I can tell that way better. Okay. There we go. All right, I think that'll be good. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, nope, it still didn't work. Just down a tiny bit. I'm only moving it over just the smallest amount, so if I'm off a little, it doesn't work. There we go. There we go, there we go. That's probably good. All right, so that does that. So this is what we're going to end up with. We're going to end up with this going that way. We have this here. That is where your journal pages are going to go. Here's some more journal pages, right? This is the back, okay? And you could actually, if you wanted to, take another smaller envelope and put another smaller envelope right here, okay? And have that as another flap or a flip, okay? I mean, that's up to you if you want one on both sides, okay? You don't have to put another smaller one down there, and I'm not going to, but that is how it would work, okay? And you don't have to put that on. That's just an extra layer, okay? Now here's the other thing you need to think about is you can actually have these pockets in it if you want to. I've seen other ones where they open this up so they use less envelopes. You can do that if you want, but the ones that are sitting out like this, there's 2 pockets like that. I'm going to leave them as pockets. I'm going to cover that and you'll see. Okay, so anyway, from that point on, what I kind of want to show you is take those out. How you would cover this up, because I think that that's a part that maybe people aren't getting. I have different papers here, and they're just a mix of extra papers from different artists that I had, and I have some that are printed on cardstock and some that are printed on what do you call it, on just, I think all of this is on, what kind of paper is this? I don't know. Different papers, lighter weight papers, like copy. Well, I don't think they're all parchment paper. And I've got a smaller one here. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I am going to cover these, and I am going to use the cardstock to, I think I had some other stuff over here too. Yeah, I do. Got a few pieces of other paper. I'm going to use the cardstock just to cover this with. I think I'm going to use that. So what I'm going to do is try and figure out, I might put this on the front, I think, because I really like it. Or I could put that. And I just kind of want to start the process so that you can understand what we're doing here, because I think it's important to get that part, the options that you have. And I know this is too big, but so, and I'm putting the cardstock on the front just because of the fact that I want it to be, you know, a little bit sturdier. You know what? That's not going to be wide enough, I don't think. I may have to use one of the other ones. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll just use that. Yeah, I'll use that. And I don't know where I got this from. It might be an Artemis freebie. I'm not positive. And I have other papers that I could definitely put off, but I really am trying to use my stuff. I think I'll use that. I'll go this way. And I am just going to be gluing this on, and then I'll trim it. I'll be using my art glitter glue if I didn't drop it already on the ground. So we are going to do that. And this is technically what I'm considering the front, but there's really two fronts to it, so. All right, I always put too much, but oh well. I like my glue. I need my little spreader so that my finger doesn't get all sticky. Here we go. That's my little finger. All right, let's see. And I know I cut that crooked, but that's okay. We'll just try and cut it straight. You could tear it if you want that look. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put that there. And you know, I'll ink all this up later too, so it's not going to have to be absolutely perfect. Boy, did I cut that crooked. Okay. I'm going to just overlap it and then I'll cut it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that while it's on here. I'm not doing any measuring, so I'm not in the mood to measure. Now, the thing is on these, because you're using envelopes, you have lots and lots of options of adding pockets. So you can add pockets anywhere there's an envelope. You can add a pocket on top, you can add a pocket on the side. All right, so there's that. And I will add other things to it later, but that's the beginning. Okay, let's see what I can, if this will fit on the other side. Almost. A little bit small. Let's see how small it is. It's hard to tell because you've got all these other pieces in there. And I'm going to glue this shut because I'm not going to use it. I might use it as a pocket later, but I don't think so. I would cut that, but I don't think I'm going to use it as a pocket. I could do that. Or do it like that. Oh, I could do this. I had that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Alright, I've got to cut this. This time I'm going to try and cut it a little bit more straight. You know? I'm just not a good cutter. I could put this in my machine, but my little cutting thing, but I'm too lazy. Alright. So this is what we're considering the front, but we still have this little envelope here that we're going to decorate too, so I haven't done anything with that. I got to trim the side so that can work. I cut it too wide. It's go in without cutting my envelope would be good. There we go. So that has to go there. Oop, what happened? Okay, sticking to the other one. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to do that in a minute. But this is our back piece. That is technically our back. So that is going to go... should we go that way? I might actually cut this in machine, so I think I'm making myself more work by not measuring and cutting. I usually do that. Okay, so that's going to go... oh, come on, pencil. Right here. And, okay. So, ultimately, you can use, you know, you don't have to use, cardstock, but I just think it gives it a little bit more sturdiness. Okay. So I'm going to glue that on and then I'll cut it. So this is technically our back. But by putting a smaller envelope instead of the same size, what you're doing is, got that out and I didn't even, what you're doing is you're just adding some, you know, just another layer, just another dimension. And as I said, you could add a whole nother smaller envelope, but I think this is good. Okay. And that is that one, and I just got to cut here. Let's see. Do it that way. All right. So that is that. And then I have this piece up here. And on that, I don't know. I think I'm going to put, maybe that'll fit. Oh, good. It'll fit. Oh, good. It'll fit. It'll fit. It'll fit. How far down is that going to go? Oh, I think that's good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put that on there. Oh, that worked out really, because you wouldn't have really seen it on the other one. So basically, all you do is go in and you cover all of these pieces. Okay, so that has to go right here. All right. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm going to just trim this up a little bit. Now here's the thing, guys. If you wanted to, you could open this up and make it a double, like it could come out and add something to that if you wanted to. I mean, you could flip and flop all over the place because you have so many options when you're using envelope. On this, I'm going to just probably use, well, I don't know, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just use this. I have this scrap piece of paper here, so I will just put that in there. And these kind of coordinate as to they're all like, you know, pinks and stuff like that. So I just thought, well, I already have them printed out. And that's kind of what's on my desk thing. It's not literally what's on my desk, but it's stuff, you know, that is not hard to find, basically. This is close to my desk, let's put it that way. You know, just it's kind of using up your stuff, really. Okay, I am marking where I want to cut this, and I think I'll use my little cutter for that. So yeah, let's go like right here, and then right. Okay, and then the thing is, we have a choice on this too. And you're going to quickly see why I'm talking about all the pockets you could have. You could make a pocket right here, and I think I might do that. I might do that. Let's see. Would that be small enough? I think it would be. Okay. So if you make this a pocket, see how this is open right here? In order for it to be open, I'm not making a pocket here, I'm making a pocket on the end. So I can only put glue right here. And I know there's a lot of people out there that already know all this, but you know, like I said, I have a lot of new people, so even with the cutter I cut crooked. Let me do that a little bit. Okay. Let me see. I don't know. I can't cut straight ever. It's not that bad, but still. I think when I'm using the cutter, I can cut straight. Okay. So now I'm going to put that on. Again, you don't want to go over too far. And don't worry about all these parts in here, because we can cover that up later. Go down just a tiny bit. You don't have a lot of time to work with our glitter glue, so. Okay, so that's covering that up, all right? And if I slice this open here, make sure it's still open and I didn't accidentally, when I move the glue it shut. Because if I did, then I guess we'll leave it shut. No, I didn't. But there is some glue in there, I can feel it. No, there isn't. There's something in there. Oh, I see what it is. The little tab part came off, and it is, so the glue's getting in there. We don't want that. We don't want that. We need it open. So I'm going to glue that down and give it a second. Okay. Make sure that glue stays on there. I'm manhandling this envelope. Now if you wanted to, you could use cardstock on all of these other pieces, but I don't think you need it because it will be pretty sturdy by the time you get done. I just like putting it on these outer pieces, and you know. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead, hopefully I didn't glue that shut. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a second before I mess with it. And on the back, we have this. Now, I told you on these outer pieces, I'm going to leave them envelopes. So that is going to take a a smaller piece. I might be able to put that right there. I might do that just because I have it, right? So, well, you know what? Why don't I just cut it one time? I'm going to measure. And let's see, we gotta go here. I don't know. Actually, do I want to leave that part, or do I want to go? I think I'm going to go all the way to the edge. Oh boy, it might be a little bit too small. I'm going to cut it and see how it looks, because I might go ahead and use it. I might use it. If I ink it up, I don't know, you know. It might look okay. We'll see. Because it is going to go. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. We'll just ink this part right here. And I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be okay. I'll just kind of split the difference, you know. Alright, we'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. Okay, so I'm going to leave this a pocket. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead. If I'm leaving it a pocket, I don't want to put glue there, but you could just, you know, cover it. And that's the thing with, there's different ways of doing it, and if you do it to where you open up the envelope, then you don't have the option of making that a pocket, which is fine, you know, but I think I'm going to go. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'm going to split the difference because it's barely the wrong size, and then that way I'll just ink all that up later and then it'll look fine. It'll look fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Hopefully I'm not cutting the edge. Okay. All right. Oh gosh. So what that did is that gave us a little side pocket right here. See, so put a little bit more glue on that corner. Okay, stay still. And I'm only using this cardstock just because I have it, but you could definitely just use paper right here, be fine. But this is going to give us a pocket right here. Okay, so like I said, you don't have to do that. Okay, we're going to go back to this one, and hopefully it's not glued shut. Nope. Okay, so we have a side pocket right there. So when this goes like this, all right, okay, that's going like that. Yeah. All right, that's going like that. Okay, when this goes like that, and we could do a pocket on top too. I don't know, maybe we might want to do that. Because that could be cute to have a tag sticking out the top. Decisions. Okay, so if you want one on top, obviously you cut that part and not this part, okay? So, and then you have to glue this shut. So let's do that. Let's do one on top just so that you can see both ways of doing it. If you do one on top, then you want to leave the inside open like we did, but then you just want to glue this right here so that it has a pocket, okay? So we're just going to glue the edge right there. Just right there, okay? So we're going to do that, and that might make it a little stronger too. And so then the pocket part is going to be on top, so then you would just cut straight across here. Okay, and that's where your pocket would be. Now you can put a thumbnail or do whatever you want to do in there. So, or a notch or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I am going to try and cut it straight though, I tell you that. Okay.
Oh yeah, that made it worse. Okay. Just. All right. Well. What it is, it's so thick. Okay. You get the idea. So then you're going to have that there, so you'll have an opening on here. Okay, so that'll be up here. Let's see. Make sure that that's in there good. Okay, good. So you have an opening right here where you can put a tag. Leave that there. Make sure there's no glue getting where it's not supposed to be. So that goes there. And here's your back. Okay. And let's see. So we did that. Now we can do, we did the inside here. Okay, so we did that. We haven't done this. Now this has an opening here, and I'm just going to cover that up, okay? So I am just going to take a paper and just go ahead and cover that up completely. Let's see here. Maybe I'll do that side. I'll do that side. All right, and then we're going to do from there, and we're going to go, let's see here, yeah, right there. All right, so let's cut this one, and the thing is, guys, you can do this with scrapbook paper. You can do it with any kind of paper you want to use. It doesn't have to be. Oh, I got it. I didn't do it at the right point. It's way over here. I think I looked at the wrong mark. I thought it was that. Okay. So I'm going to go down here. I better make sure though. Let me make sure. I think I did it way too wide. Yeah. Okay. So let's go in a little bit. And then okay. So anyway, so then this one will go here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this thing up, and I'm not going to have a pocket. I could slit this open and have a pocket, but I'm not going to. I don't want a pocket on every one. So I'm going to take my envelope and I'm going to glue it shut, and then I'm going to go ahead and you can see how that kind of makes these pages sturdy. I think that's why some people open up their envelope and do it that way. But if you're only using a lightweight paper, I don't think it would make it too bulky. I really don't. I think it would be fine. I guess it depends on what you put in it, but okay, so I'm going to do that. So that was that page, okay? So far we've got that, we've got this, we've got that. This can cover another page at some point. So basically that is all you do. Let's put this back here so that it would, let's see here, I could use the other side. I don't know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to stop the camera, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my other pieces out, and before I glue them in, I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the pages and doing that. Okay, so I'll be right back. Alright, so now what we're going to do, guys, we've got my pieces cut. So we've already done that, and we're going to have a top pocket up here. Okay, we've done this, no pocket. I'm going to probably put a pocket on this, but I will do that later. This I can make a pocket. Okay, so that could be a pocket right there. So let's see. If we want to make it a side pocket, then we just do our glue here. And don't put glue here. You don't want to glue this part right here. So we're going to do that. And this is a very plain paper, but I thought it could be like you could write on it also. And you're going to have your journal in here, so you'll have lots of writing room, but I wanted to put just a couple of plainer pieces in there. So that will go, oh, don't squish out, come on. Okay, there we go. Make sure I get that down good. There we go. So now you have a pocket, a little side tuck right here. And on this one, I don't want to tuck like in the middle right there because your journal is going to go there. So I want to just cover that up. I don't know if I want to put that one there. Let me see what other options I have. I could put one of these too. I don't know, I think I like that better. Let me see what I have on the next one. I have that and that. So I think I will put that there. Or I could put that one there. Yeah, I'll just put that one. Okay, so this one I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to have it as a pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and go like that. So pretty much I think you only want to have the ones that are a pocket that are on the outside, because otherwise you have to go on the inside to get your pocket. But you could make it a top pocket, but I don't really like to do that on a tall journal like this, because then you've got to have a tag that long, so you know. Alright, so we did that. This is one we already did, and see that was an outer one, so we had a pocket there. And then now we're on the other side. So this is our other journal, and we got to make sure, okay, we got that there, got that there, then we have this there, and then here's the thing, you turn it over and there's your other part of the journal. Okay, so you go like this. This is, oop, my pieces are falling out. Oh well, I'll just have to figure out where they went. Okay, so this is how you're gonna have your journal portion in here and in here. Okay, and then when you turn it over, you're gonna have a journal here and then here. Okay, so you want to have your papers. I don't know what I decided I was gonna do. I don't remember. Okay, I'm just gonna put you there because I want to see how that looks with that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then maybe put this there. And then maybe put, okay, that there. And then maybe put that there. Okay, that looks good. Alright, so that's how we're going to do it. Oh, we can't have two of those. So that goes there. And that goes there. Okay, good. Alright. Oh, that was the back. That's why I did that. Oh, got it. They're the same. Okay, there we go. Is that not wide enough? Yeah, I may have to put that there. And then that there. Okay. So we're not putting any pockets on this side because you really can't. So on your other side, you're just going to cover them. So that makes it nice and easy. Now that one I'm going to have to cut down to be the right size. But straight. Oh, it's crooked. Just a tiny bit that way. There we go. And again, I am going to ink around this, so let's do the other pages and then I'll come back and do that one. That's going to go right there. And I'm doing this quick because I want to show you, and I am going to just kind of give you an idea of how the signatures go in. You sew it in just like you would any other signature. You can do a 5-hole, you can do a 3-hole, you can do a 3-hole on this and it would work. Just depends on where, if you're putting a lot of papers up and down, you may want to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. But I am not going to do that part today. I'm just showing you this part, but I will show you where your signatures go again, just so that you understand. Okay. The concept, and I will show you the end result. So and what kind of papers you need. Okay, so that's that. All right, so now we got to do this one, and I wanted to put that in there, but I'm gonna have to cut it down. Right. That needs more glue, obviously. I'll come back anywhere that I missed and get it. I just, as I said, I'm doing it quick, so. All right. I think I'm gonna, I did this down here, so I'm gonna have to cut that little flat part off right there. You don't want that on there. You don't need it, for sure. That's because of where I put the envelope too, but I don't want it to be, you see what I'm talking about as far as the envelope being able to see that it has, it's, you know, it's a different size. I guess we could have put it down a little bit lower so it'd be more obvious, but I think it looks cool, it not being, you know, the same. So now we just have to do this one. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue it and then trim it. I think that would be the easiest thing to do. So anyway, it's really pretty easy. If you have any questions, let me know, but I know I probably didn't explain it all that well, but I like to do it with the full envelopes. I don't like to open them up because I like having little side pockets. But if you do it, there's multiple ways you can do this, guys. So which way do I want it? I think I want it that way. Okay. So let me line up the top. Oh, come on. I know. I got it in there reasonably straight. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm just going to trim this a little bit. Yeah, looks pretty good. So anyway, if you do it with the full envelope and not unfold the envelope and do it, because I think there's some where you open up the envelope, but I don't know. To me, that's a little bit more confusing, and also you don't get the pockets, but there's like, you could do this so many different ways. As I said, you could add another whole small envelope, which I might do, but I didn't want to do that for the video. You could do another one right here like that, you know. And honestly, the only page that's directional is this one. So you could flip this any way you wanted to. That's another thing you might want to think about when you're doing this. You know, is not having anything real directional so that you don't have to worry about it. But anyway, so, but that would go, you would had to have done this while you were covering this. Like, see, this would have to go in here. Here, I'll just show you real quick. Oh, hopefully I won't rip this. I don't want to rip it. I like this piece. Don't rip, don't rip, don't rip. Okay. It's not all the way dry, so I think we can do it. Yeah, I think I can get it that far, so I'll just have to cut this a little bit. So basically what you would do is you would put this right there like that, and then you would have another envelope on that side, and that would go like that, okay? And so you'd have that on that side. So that's really what you would do, just to give it more, even more. You see what I'm saying? That would go like that. That would still stay like that. Everything else is going to stay the same, all right? So that's how you would do it. Now I want to show you really quick again where the where your papers go, because I think that's important that you not get that part confused. You have to think of this as like, here, I'll just use this so it's not confusing. And you can put the same kind of different papers that you would put in any journal. So here's, let's just say this is your front, okay? You're going to open it up. Technically, you could put papers in here. You could put a signature in here if you wanted to, okay? I wouldn't, but okay. So here you would have, just pretend this is your signature, okay? So that is where you would have is your first signature right there, okay? We have all different kinds of papers in there, whatever you want. You know, just, you're going to put it in there just like any other signature, right? So let's just say you do that. Okay. You can have all your papers in there. So there you go. All right. So there's your first signature. Okay. So you're going to open your journal. And as I said, you could technically put papers there. Okay. And here you go. This is your journal. You could put a pocket right there. I'm going to personally put pockets on some of these pages, but this is your first signature, okay? Now you open that up, right? Now here, because we did the full thing, you have a pocket right here. You have a side pocket. So you can put a tag, you can put whatever you want to put in there, okay? And then, so that is your first signature. I'm going to take some of these papers out. Right, and then you open it up over here, and this is where you put another signature, okay? So there's that one, all right? So then, let me take these papers out, so I have some to show you. Then, after you've done your other two signatures, this is the back. Remember, we added this extra piece of paper. And this, again, you could open this up all the way and make a little, here, I'll just do it just to show you. You could take this, hopefully I can cut this straight. This is really just to show you. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but I just want to show you your options here and how easy it is to change this up. Okay, so if you wanted to, right, we're going to put this here. So this is my other flippy floppy like we have in the front, but I could add paper on this, okay? If I have one here, let me see if I have one that we can use. I don't think I have any more paper. Okay, like this one, I could add this paper, you know, on here and just have a fold out little writing space. And then I could decorate this, then on this side, and then on this side. So there you go. So that gives you like a whole nother thing that you added on, okay? So anyway, you would open it up at that point. Remember, this is what we did before. So this is the back, and so you have a signature here, then you open it again, and you're going to have another signature here. And that's it, okay? And there you are at the front. this is where you would, here, I'm just gonna divide them up so you can, I don't have enough papers to show you. I have to show you individually. All right, let's put that in there. Put that in there. Put this in there. And put that in there. And like, see, this is what I'm saying. You could put papers in there even, right? You could do that. You could do that. Okay, so you open it up. You could have papers in there if you want. You open it up. Here's a signature there. Here is a signature here. Okay. You've got a pocket over there. Oh, I didn't show you this. You've got a pocket over here. Let's do it again. All right, front. You could have a signature there, pages if you want. Here is your front thing. Here is a signature. You know, lots of pages in there. Let's just pretend. Every time I say there's a signature, you have multiple pages, okay? Then you also have a side pocket right there, so you could put anything you want in there, okay? And then you turn it over and you've got another signature, multiple pages, okay? And you've got another pocket. Then this is the back, okay? And this could be, like I said, multiple pages, you know, a page here, a page there. You would cover this whole thing. This whole thing would be covered, okay? So it wouldn't be like, you know, it'd be open. But then, and this would be covered here, like that, okay? And open it up. And you've got a signature here. Now you're not going to have any pockets over here, okay? You could technically have a pocket here if you wanted to, but if you do this little flappy thing, you really can't, okay? So, do it again. Here's your back. Here's your signature. Open it up. Here's your signature. And you're back to the front. That's it, okay? So hopefully that explains it. I don't really know that it's that difficult, and like I said, you can add other things to it. It gets full pretty fast because you are, you know, going to be adding 1, 2, you know, technically 4 signatures, but the deal is because they're not, all the pages are not going in just one spine, so I would add like 5 pages to each one. Personally, I think is a good amount, and you'll have a very chunky journal, especially if you put embellishments and stuff in it. So that's it, guys. That's my take on the flip-flop journal, and I hope that helped. It may have hurt, I don't know. And finish the flip-flop journal that we started, and I had a lot of questions on sewing in the signatures and pockets and things like that. So I thought I would go ahead and do a part 2 because I realize it's not necessarily the same as you would a regular journal as far as sewing in the signatures. So I thought I would do that. I started to do it on my own, but then I thought I'll turn on the camera and do the part 2. So that's what we're going to work on, and we're going to talk a little bit about adding pockets and lace and trim and things like that. So the first thing I want to talk about, though, is we had this as the front, and we went ahead and added all of our pockets and everything, and I went ahead and picked out some pages. So I went ahead and we were going to put this little envelope on this side. I decided to put it on this side simply because the fact I decided to make this my front, and I thought it should open this way. I don't know that it really matters. It can go either way. But this is going to be my front. I just like that picture better. So it really doesn't make any difference because the way it works is you're just going like this. You look through it and you turn it over, and then you're looking through the other side. Okay. So anyway, if you're confused about that, the best thing to do is watch part 1, and it shows you the very basics of how to do this. Okay, so I have picked out all of my papers, and we are going to go ahead and sew in signatures. I'm going to be doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, which is a little bit more advanced than the 3-hole. So if you haven't done the 3-hole yet, I would probably do something with a 3-hole. You could do this with a 3-hole. This is a little bit longer than I like to go. Just, let's see, what are we at? We're at right at 9 and almost 9.5. I really don't like to go much past 8 inches on a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but you could definitely do this with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You know, it's not as big as the a lot of the 10.5, almost 11 inch, the long journals, but I personally like the 5-hole better on when you're using long pieces. Okay, especially if you've got a lot of little pieces in there, and I do. And I thought, well, this way we're doing something different, so we could definitely do it like that. Let's see. The one thing I did want to talk about that I didn't get to in my last video is reinforcing the spine on all of these, and I will show you what I'm talking about. I put just some sari silk in between here just for strength. You definitely don't have to do that. Let's see here. I don't think I did it on all of them. Let's see, I think I did it just on a couple, because that's when I decided I probably should just turn the camera on and show you guys. So I just took some sari silk and put it down here. Let's turn it over. I don't think I did any on this side. So I just have just some sari silk, and I'm just using, you could use washi, you could use ribbon, anything you want to do. And let's see here, I am going to just probably use my 3-in-1 because it dries really quick. I think I used my and I'm not putting a ton, but I just want it to definitely get in there. So this is just, I've opened it up to where I'm going to sew in the signatures. And I am just taking some sari silk, and I'm not even putting it on there perfect. I don't want it perfect. I'm just kind of putting it in the middle. And gonna go all the way down. And I'm not even worried about too much getting it on the sides. I don't mind if it's sticking up a little. I kind of like that look. And let me get some scissors here, and so I'm just going to cut that off. And what that is going to do is that is going to reinforce my spine. We can put a little bit more right here. I don't want to put a ton because I don't actually want it completely on there perfectly. I want it just kind of hanging in there a little bit. And I'm just going to put a little bit, tiny bit of glue. Okay, so that is going to reinforce our spine enough to where it's not just paper. Okay, now we could do it on this one, and I'm going to do it there just to hide this portion. You don't have to do that. You could use paper, you could use washi tape. Washi tape would be easy, but since I'm already using this, I think I'm gonna, here, I'm gonna see, I'm gonna try this side right here. And again, I don't care that it's perfectly on there because I'm kind of not wanting it perfect, but and I like using this just because I think it gives it a shabby look, but you can certainly put whatever you want. And washi would work, but I would definitely glue down your washi, with something just to make sure it's going to stay. That's just to help it because, it's going back and forth, not because you're sewing in a signature. And it also hides that the different the part of the envelope that was showing. Oh, I did want to show you too what I did is I went back in on all of the open envelope parts that we had, and what I did is I put a little bit of my extra, let's see if I have it, any of my extra papers that I had, I just cut them, trimmed it a little bit, and I put it part ways in the inside, and that is really just so that when you're looking at this you don't see just the white. Definitely don't have to do that. So here's another one we haven't done yet. So it does two things. It kind of covers up the white part, and it also reinforces the spine. And you don't have to do it on both sides, really, just one. You could, but I don't think you really need to. One is going to be the outside. You'll see in just a minute. I'll turn it over and show you. Let's see, I'll take this one. And I'm just putting it in the middle. And that should be dry pretty quick enough for us to be able to sew it. The other thing too is if you had wanted to do any sewing on this, you could do that. I am going to do a little bit, but not, a ton. Okay, so I want to go ahead and put a piece right here because this is just like the other one. So I'm gonna, and again, it does two things. It covers this little spot right here, and it also that little hair there. It also, covers the. It also reinforces it. And I like mine kind of scrunched up and imperfect, so I purposely leave it that way. I'm not trying to get it on there perfect. Okay, so that's going to be that. And I believe I did that. Make sure my papers are the right way. And I did that. That should be it. Okay, so what you'll see, I have this here, and we also have an outside part here, okay? Now, if you want to, you could go ahead and cover that, or you can ink it. I don't know, let me see if I can find some pieces that are thin enough. Let me see these right here, this might work. And there should only be two of those. See, this is the outside here. We could go ahead and do that. That way it double reinforces it, plus you could ink this, or you can do that. I don't know that you need both, but that's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of my glue, and I'm going to put it right on the edge right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, that right there, get that off of there. And just kind of go up and down. Try not to get glue everywhere. Now we have to be careful because you need these to open. So when I do this, I'm going to go ahead and put it on, and I'm going to have to put a little slit there for this to work, or it will not work. Let me see. This sari is kind of completely folded, so I'm going to open it up a little bit. So we're going to put that there. And then right here, I'm going to put a little slit. Okay. And I'm going to go right here. Because if you don't do that, this can't open and close. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit right here. Get that down. And if you don't want to do this, you definitely don't have to. I kind of like how it looks. To me, it makes it look a little shabby. So I'm going to roll. This is the part we slit. So I'm going to have that go down here. And I'm going to do this and have that go down here. I didn't cut that off yet. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna cut that right there. So that allows this to open and close, okay? If you don't do that, you won't be able to open and close it, so. Like I said, washi tape would work well too. Okay, so that is going to be reinforced, and then we're going to do this one right here. Now this doesn't have anything on it, so it doesn't really matter. We don't have to worry about putting a slit or anything like that. Again, you could easily just ink this and not put this on if you're just worried about how it looks. Is that one long enough? Nope. Let me try this one. All right. I had Sorry from ages ago that, and they're different widths, and whenever I use it for this, I try and use the one that's not as wide, you know, so, but this is really kind of crumpled up a lot, so, which is fine, not a big deal. Oops, that's moving. Push that over here. There we go. And again, you know, you put it the way you want it, or if you want it. I'm not gonna go crazy making sure it's perfect because I don't really care, because I actually like the not perfect look, so, but you want it on there so that it serves its purpose. Okay, get that straightened out a little bit. There we go. Let's see if I even got it on the other side. So anyway, this is really easy. You don't have to reinforce it at all if you don't want to, but like I said, I just feel like it's going to last longer, and it does, to me, it gives it a little bit shabbier look. So all right, so anyway, those are all the spots that we would need to reinforce. I guess I could put some glue right here. Get that to stick down. Here we go. Missed that. So that is going to just give us some reinforcement when we go and we sew in our signatures. All right, so let me show you kind of what I did with the papers. So this is my first signature. All right, you open it up. I'll have something in here like a pocket or something, and so this is going to be my first signature, and what I'm going to do is, let me get my clips out. You know, I think I'm going to just use paper clips for this. Let me get those, my long ones out, and I am just going to put, this is my signature. I've got lots of different pages. I have them at different heights. So I'm going to just do like you would on any other signature. I'm going to put it in the middle. Kind of look at my pages to make sure they're where I want them. None are upside down. Okay, so that's that. And let me put that there. And then I'm just going to go through and figure out if it's in the right spot, and put a paper clip here. And I'll put one over here. Okay, do it that way, I guess. All right, so those two are in there, and now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and And that is just so that it stays put while I'm sewing in the signature. In essence, you're going to be sewing in 4 signatures, okay? But they're all going to be on a separate cover. So that's it right there, okay? Then I'm going to go through the next one and do the same thing. So this is our cover here. So we're going to go ahead and get our papers lined up. And I always take it sideways and kind of make sure that it's in the middle of these 2 bigger pieces, so you don't have any sticking out of the top or the bottom. And this is kind of just a short piece. I'm going to make sure I get that somewhere either at the top or the bottom. Then I'm going to put that in. And all my pieces are different sizes. I did that intentionally because I like that look. So, alright, so then we're going to go ahead and get that kind of positioned where we want it. And get our paper clips. And I'm using larger paper clips so that it holds more of this down. And I make sure it goes down there as far as you can get it. A lot of my paper clips are stuck together, so. And you're just going to do that to all 4 signatures. The same thing. It's actually, even though this journal looks complicated, it's actually, I think, an easy journal once you figure out what you're doing, because you're sewing these signatures in to single, to single signatures, so that's easy. And they're not having to line up with each other, so all right, that seems kind of not in the right spot. Now this one is the shorter envelope right here. Remember we did this one a little bit shorter, so I have to put this, I'm making sure that it's in the middle of here and that the pages are in right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of line that up, and we're going to go, yeah, that looks good. And really, this whole journal is just a bunch of random pages that I had already printed out. Then they go together, kind of, but they're not necessarily a kit in general. It's just stuff I had printed out that I had not used. So, alright, so technically this is the back. There's another journal on the other side of that. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pin that in until we're ready to sew it. And I'll take those off. I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to go ahead and put them in place just because I want everything to stay kind of intact while I'm doing it. Okay, so this is our last signature, and we're going to make sure it's in the middle. And I think I'm going to put it right here. And I'm only going to do it on one side because I don't want to make it too complicated. So I'm going to do it, I think, on this side. Yeah, okay. There's my last page. So that is going to go right here. You know what? Maybe I'll do it to this one. It'll be easier because I can hold it up so you can see it. Move it down a little bit. just a tiny bit. There we go. And then we'll do that. Okay. So anyway, that is basically it. And now that we have that all in there like that, you will go in and we'll just sew in that signature, and then we'll go to the next one and we'll sew in that signature, turn it over, sew in this signature, and I'll go ahead and clip that once we get to it. Just I don't want to have 4 paper clips on that side if I can help it while I'm sewing in the other signature, and then we'll have this last signature to do. Okay. All right, so now that we've got all of our pages ready to go, we're going to go ahead and sew in our signatures. And I do want to say that if you have not done a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, again, I probably would do that first because it's a little bit more complicated, but you know, you can start with this. It's not crazy hard. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I do an extra length because I may have something dangling on this. I usually put a paper clip on the end of it just to keep it from going through, and I'm using waxed thread just because I think it's way easier and it's stronger. Alright, so I'm just going to do that. And I've got my needle here, and I just have a very long, sharp needle. I like it because I can easily see through all my pages. And I moved in my camera, so hopefully it's a little bit closer. Alright, so this is our thread. So I've got my awl here, and I'm just going to use that. Let's go to the first one right here. Now realize that you've got all these separate little signatures here, but we're going to do one at a time. Let me get my little pad thing. Hold on. Where did it go? Here we go. I have this little, it's just a little foam thing, and I use it to punch into. Alright, so I am going to first off put 5 holes or 5 marks of where my holes are going to be. Okay, and hopefully you can see that. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go kind of guesstimate where the middle is. And I'm making these bigger than I would normally make them because I want you to be able to see them. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one probably about 1 inch from the top. I'm just guessing 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, and then in the middle of the 2 of those. Okay, and so that is where I'm going to put my holes. Okay, and I just guessed. You could take your 9.5 inches and make a template and make everyone the same, but because these signatures are not right next to each other, I wouldn't worry about that, but if you want to, that would be one way to do it. Okay, so now I'm taking my little foam block here, and I'm going to put this up like this. This is how I do it. I don't use a cradle. I just kind of hold it like it would be in a cradle, and I'm going to punch a hole through there, go all the way through, go to the next one, go all the way through, go to the next one. And this is so that you go straight through the back and it's not going through the side. And I'll just make sure that I'm doing that and just look and see. And go through, and I'm just holding it kind of in a V with this one hand. Be careful you don't poke your hand. I've done it before. But Just go like that, and that's why this little box, I'm just punching into that. Okay. Let's see, and I have no idea where I got it. It was in some sort of packaging, and I have a couple of them and I've used them for years. Okay, so the way that this works is you are going to start, make sure you guys can see this. You're going to start in the middle and you're going to go straight back in the middle, and I kind of hold it at a slant, and that always makes it easier to get it straight in. Try and make sure that you guys can see too. There we go. Why is that difficult? Should not be difficult unless there we go. All right, so that is going to go in the middle. My string got kind of caught up somewhere. So you go in the middle. All right, and then you're going to go to the second hole here. You could go either one of these. It doesn't matter. I, for some reason, usually go up, but it doesn't matter. And you're going to go through the back this time, because this is where your thread is. You're just going to follow where your thread is. That tells you whether to enter the back or the front. If your thread's in the back, you enter through the back. If your thread's in the middle, you enter through the middle. So that goes up on the second hole, okay? All right, and then you're going to go, so your thread's inside, so you're going to enter from the inside. And you're going to kind of, if you hold it, tends to go through the hole better because everything's lined up usually. Unless you move the papers. I don't know whether I did or not. I don't think so. Okay, so then, getting caught. Then you've gone through there. Okay, so you've gone through these 3 holes so far. And now you're on the outside, and we have to come back down. So here we are on the outside. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to come back, and we're going to go back through the second hole. And what we're going to do is we're going to try not to pierce the thread that we've already put through there. Okay, if you do pierce it, pull your needle back out and go in again. Because if you pierce that thread, you will not be able to tighten your signature, okay? So you want to make sure you didn't pierce it. Get your thing in there and go through. Okay, so you would think that you go back through the middle, but you don't, okay? Because we want to end up in the middle. So we have 2 threads together. So you skip the middle. Okay, and we're in the inside, so our next time we go in is in the inside. We're going to skip the middle, and we do that because we want to end up back in the middle. So we're going to go down to this one right here. Hold it tight. It's going to go in. Okay. Now that we're on the outside, we're going to go through this bottom one that we've yet to go in yet. Can't really see the hole all that well because my head's not over it. There we go. So that's going to go in there. Where's my thread? Here we go. Okay, good. All right. So now that we've done that, we're going to go back through. We're in the inside. On the inside, we're going to go through this second one, and again, we're going to try not to pierce the thread, because what that does is it causes you not to be able to tighten your string. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, remember we skipped the middle and we came back down. We're going to go up through the middle, and again we're going to try not to pierce the thread. All right, and that is it. Okay, and that is really too long, so we're going to cut that. And this is what happens when I do this with the wax thread. I just pull this off. Okay, now what I do is I make sure, and I kind of did that as I was looking, but I just make sure that each string is on each side of this middle string. So there's one on this side and one on that side, and I tighten it up. Okay, Now if you want to tighten it even more, you can take this and wrap it around your string, and wrap that around your string. Okay, and what that does is allows you some leverage. If you go, here they are, and you go opposite, just twist it opposite, and that gives you a little leverage. It pulls on the two strings to where they come together, and that gives you a nice tight signature. Don't go too tight, but you want it tight. And I always take my clips out then, okay, and because you can't really completely tighten it until you get all the clips out. Okay, so let's see, do we have more in there? Maybe we do. Get those off. Yeah, okay, so that's all off. So then you tighten it, okay, and that should be really tight. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so then I just tie it in a square knot, and okay, and I usually take a tiny bit of glue, I mean the tiniest little bit, okay, just a dab, although it's clogged, so maybe we won't do that, but let's see. I don't know where my little needle went to. And I just put it on there. And the wax thread, usually what it does is it bonds, it kind of melts together. So that is how you do your signature, okay? So let's do another one just to, for kicks. This is the second one. So let's see here, that is going to be here. And again, I'm just going to hold it up like this. Where's my little pad? Now, I personally would not mark all these. If it was just me, I would probably just do it. But I'm going to do it for you. I hope you can see this because on this paper, it may not be that easy. Now the benefits of doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch is when you have all those little short pages like that, it holds them in better, and it also, when you have long pages, it holds them in. But it's mainly too, usually when you're doing a long tall journal, you have a lot of short little pages in there, and that it'll catch it usually in more than one place, and that's why the 5-hole is really good for the long journals. So what did I do with my thread? Okay. So anyway, it's not that difficult. Once you do it, it's just like anything, you know, practice makes perfect. And if you do one of these journals, you're going to have 4 signatures to sew in. So that will be, you get some practice. All right. Now, do this. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one. That's another thing. If it were just me, okay, and y'all weren't watching, I would probably take my needle and just go through and not punch holes because it's a sharp needle. And that's why I have a sharp one, but I'm going to go ahead and punch the holes. It does make it a little easier, but if it were me, I probably would just do that. So I'm going to go ahead and, where's my little thingy here? Punch some holes. And I hold it and, you know, at a V, basically. And this is where I've punched my fingers before because they'll be behind there, and they'll just I've done that, especially when you're making a lot of journals and you're going fast and you're like, yeah, I've done that. But you can, if you have a sharp needle and you're not, you know, matching. When you're doing a bunch of signatures in a row, like if you were doing 4 signatures in a book and they're all on one, let's say on a 2-inch spine or something, and you're putting them all right next to each other, then you have to measure where they are. You probably want your holes to line up, so you probably would do a template. I'm not doing a template because none of these signatures are going to be right next to each other, and I think they'll be fine. So, all right, but that would be how you would probably do it. Okay, so I'm going to go in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to go on the outside. Okay, and I don't know why I go up. I usually do. I just can't. I don't know why I do. And so I'm going to go through there. All right. And I know it looks kind of confusing because I have all these papers, but I hope you can see that. Okay, then I'm going to go up here. We're at the top. And again, if you hold it in a V, I think that none of the papers move. And I leave my paper clips on until I'm almost done. So until I tighten up, you know, do my final tightening of my signature. So okay, so there we go. It's catching there. All right, and then I'm going to go, now that I've done that, I'm on the outside and I'm going to go back through the second hole, and I'm going to try not to pierce the pierce this thread. Okay, so I did not pierce my thread that I already put through. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to skip the middle. Okay, holding it at an angle, it goes right in. And then I'm on the outside now. All right, so then I'm going to go in my last hole. Hopefully I can find it. Where did it go? Oh my goodness. Let's see. There's got to be a hole in here somewhere. It should be right around here. Is that it? I might have to pierce it so I can see, just to make sure. Yeah, that is it. That is it, I think. If you ever can't find it, take your piercing tool. And I've had to do this on, like, I've done some fabric journals that were really dark or something and I couldn't see what I was doing. So I put my tool through there and it lets me know where the hole is. So I've had to do that. So I'm going to go back through here. Okay. All right. So now I'm in the inside again. And I'm going to go back through the second one. Okay, and now I have to go back up through the middle. I'm on the outside, and again, I'm going to try not to pierce my thread. So, there we go. All right, did we pierce it? I don't know. Yeah, it looks like we did. So I'm going to pull it back out and go in again. And I just pierced it right when I got to the end. So there we go. And that one is done. I'll pull that off. I always make my thread way too big. All right, and see, they're both on the same side, so I move mine to the other side. And this is when I pull off my paper clips, because that way we can tighten it Where did my needle go? Oh, there it is. Okay. And I've got it on both sides. First I tighten it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and put these through. I guess you could put them through and then tighten it up, but go like that. I twist it the other way, and all that does is put a little leverage on it. I check to make sure it's okay, and it is. And I'm going to do a double knot. And I put a dab of glue. You just put a tiny bit because you don't want it to stick to your paper. Okay, and then that is it, guys. So I think that kind of explains it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing in the other ones, and then I will be right back, okay? Okay, so I've sewn these all in, and this is how it looks. It's already, you know, pretty chunky little journal, so you can imagine when you put a lot of stuff in there, it's going to be like, it's going to be huge. But in any case, I think with the sari silk on there that's reinforced it, it also hides the thread to where you really can't see it. If that's a thing for you. I mean, you could certainly put lace or trim on there, or if you were very concerned about it, but I like it just the way it is. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to talk a little bit about decorating it. I don't know what I mean, decorating to me is like, you know, it's a personal thing. So but I was just going to bring up some things here. If you have any TN kits, those Traveler's Notebook, you can use that size. Here, I'll cut these out just so you can see. And I have several, so I thought, well, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know for sure I'm going to use these, but these fit good on those pages because the pages are smaller, and it gives you close to the right size if you want pre-cut pockets. And I may use a few of these, I'm not really sure yet. So there's one, and then this is like a triple, and let me see, use my big scissors for that. And these are, like I said, from different people. This is from My Porch Print. I don't remember who that one was from. I would have to look it up. Well, that's one thing, you know, I organized my craft room, but my digital files, ugh, they're a mess. I really need to spend like a day, maybe several days of going through them because they really are a mess. And I'm cutting this out pretty quick. I mean, you could go back in and do a lot better job than I'm doing. So anyway, here's the fold line. Where's my... So you could definitely put pockets. I'm not doing a good job of that, but see, this is definitely a small pocket. You could put that right there. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe with some trim or something, right? The bigger ones, let's just say we wanted to do this here, probably would have to trim that down a tiny bit because this is a smaller envelope. So, but you could still use it. Let's say you wanted to use it here. This would fit okay. So this is a TN size. These are a triple pocket here. So you could definitely put that in there, right? I think it goes the other way, actually. I don't remember. But anyway, you can use the TN size pockets if you want already done pockets. I probably am going to put, I might use a few of these, but I think I'm going to also use like some fabric ones and some things like that. So you can do that. Let's see, I'll take those out for a second. I don't know where the other one went to. There we go. Also, as far as lace and trim, I took a little out just to show you. I could put this right here. That would be pretty. Let's just do it. And of course you can go back, you can sew this because you have this opening here. You could have done it before you put it in there, or you can do it now. I mean, I'm not saying it won't be more difficult, but you certainly could sew that. And then let's just put that there. And I may come back in and sew it, I may not, I don't really know yet. So I don't know. Okay, so that will go there. And then let's say we want to put something here, right? I've got this pretty beige antique trim. I think that would be pretty. So that could go like right here. You're not going to be able to do stuff like on every page and things like that because you'll see you have, you know, the fold line in there is keeping you from do that, but you have edges that you can do it. And then, so let's see, I put that one right there. And then get my wipes out so I can, what did I do with them? It's amazing, a big old box of wipes and I can't find them. Huh. Oh, here, they're right behind me. They're right behind me. And I just do that to get the extra glue off and not make it so shiny. And do that. Okay, so we've got lace there. Let's see. Let's put the same pink over there. You know what though? I am going to put something in here later, so no, it's okay. That looks good like that. I think it looks good. I will leave it. I'm going to trim this though because I like it a little bit more rounded on the edges. And then let's do this side. And honestly, this is not as complicated as it looks, and I think that's why they're popular, because they look complicated but they're really not. So, and they're kind of fun because things are just flip-flopping around, and you can add different things. You can add flip outs in the middle, and you know, which I kind of did. I didn't really show you the pages, but okay. Do I want to put that same lace, or do I want to put a different one in there? Let me see if I was going to put some different. It's going to be on the other side, so I'll go ahead and put yeah, I'll go ahead and put this in there. So anyway, because this is not like one that bends, see, these you can't really put anything in, but you could put it on this side. So, and I may go back in and do that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know how much lace and trim I want to put on here. I've just gotten to the point though, guys, where I have so much of it that I really need to start using more of it. So if you get a journal from me, it's probably going to have a lot of lace and trim because I gotta get moving. Gotta use it. I spent time collecting. Now I gotta. It's always hard to tell which side to put on. And again, like I said, you definitely can sew this. You just need to decide if that's what you want to do. You can't sew the ones that are double like this, obviously, or you wouldn't be able to use them. Okay. So. And then I kind of round that. That is not on there good, is it? And I always, usually when I sew end glue, so. All right, so there we go. And then you can take on the inside here, you can't really put any unless you put it on a page. So you could put some on a page, like right here, or let's see, back here. This is the shorter one. You could put some on pages and have that sticking out. On the other side where you have the pockets, you could definitely put some right here, like let's say we put this in. This is a white. So we put that on there. So this is our pocket page here. You could put it on the outside or the inside, really. It doesn't matter. Whatever your preference is. You could put it on the inside of this pocket right here if you wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and put it on the outside. And yeah, that looks pretty even. Pull it up just a little bit. There we go. And again, I did not put enough glue on the end. So I'll put a little bit right here. All right. And all right, so that has that there. We can do one more. Let's see here. You have another pocket. So here's another pocket. So we can put it here. Let's see, what other lace do I want to put on here? I haven't used this one. Put that one on there. So that can go here. And of course you can put little tabs or anything else you want to put on there too, but I'm just trying to show you quickly where you can put some lace and stuff, because it isn't your typical journal where you have, you know, a bunch of real estate, but you can honestly put it on the pages, so it does allow you lots of room to do that. Okay. All right, so let's just say that that's what we did. That's still quite a bit of, you know, trim and things on there. So I would maybe put some like right here so that this side, you know, has some. let's see, is that my first? No, that's not my first one. Like maybe right here. Got that. Yeah, we'll put it right here. So this is the first page of that back signature, so we could put that on there. And guys, I'm going quickly. You can take your time. I'll probably trim that. I just don't like the square corners, or not sure why. And then maybe on this one we're going to put this, so we'll put that over here. Let's do that. And that's probably all I'm going to put, other than like little pieces here and there, because I don't know, I'm not going to put it on every page or anything like that, but I don't think a little lace and trim on a pink journal is a bad thing. Alright, so that gives us a little bit of fluff on here, right? And I was thinking, rather than just put the sari silk, maybe I might put, let's see what I got here. Which one would look the best? That one. I don't know, I have different pinks here, so I never know which one until I hold it up. I think I like that. Yeah. So we could take that and, right? I don't know how long we need it. Probably about right here. So it's probably longer than it needs to be, but anyway, that is the bulk of what we need to do to make this journal. So I hope this helped you finish it off. I had the questions about all the other stuff, and I think that turned out really, really cute. And I will finish this journal and I will do a flip through, hopefully in the next few days.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a rather long video, but I wanted to get both parts into one video. And I will link the flip through of the final journal in the description box for you to take a look at. And if you happen to need any crafting products, you can get that on my website. That's rehatchdesigns.com. The link will be in the description. We offer a multitude of things: IOD products, paint couture, pen art products, Sweet Pickins milk paint, fusion, JRB, Roycycled papers, decoupage papers. Anyway, guys, if you like this, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again very soon. Take care.